Las Vegas Motor Speedway and race number 3 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. Coverage presented by GoDaddy.com. After a rain delay, we are getting ready to buckle the drivers in and get started for today's 300-mile NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Story of the day, a tough, tricky racetrack that really caused a wild and crazy race a year ago. Congratulations to Carl Edwards, one of the favorites to win. New daddy this week.
Annie Edwards is a 8-pound bouncing baby girl. Congratulations to Carl and wife.
Carl starting on the inside of row number 2 behind Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick. We saw a tricky turn 4 last year. We've seen some young guys have great finishes. We saw guys get behind and come back to have good runs.
Yeah, keep an eye also today, Alan, on pit road. It is a curved pit road here, and with all the rubber being washed off, it could be tacky and a little bit slick as well getting in and out of pit road.
Gonna load them up and fire them up next. About an hour and 35-minute rain delay at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but we are getting ready to fire them up. Our coverage presented by GoDaddy.com. Want somebody to watch for today? How about Paul Menard?
Well, I think Paul Menard's got a good chance to get him a victory today. Starts up front. He's been strong in this Nationwide Series. Like to see him in victory lane.
Brian Vickers starting 10th today. Another one to keep an eye on. Let's go trackside for some words we've been waiting to hear.
Race fans, please welcome UNLV Rebel head football coach Bobby Houck as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Let's get this going. Drivers, start your engines.
All right, Steven, crank it up.
You my left ear? That's what I said.
Get radio.
Tight blowers.
Got me, Jay. Spread up top.
Get ready to go green. It's Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. That's your top 5. Those 5 drivers have 105 Nationwide Series wins amongst them, but only one, Kevin Harvick, has a win here at Las Vegas, and we are green. Double file all the way down through turn 3. And look at Harvick shoot to the high side. Can he hold on to it? He's got it. And it looks like Kevin Harvick is going to be the race leader after lap number 1.
Marty, looks like Harvick had a lot of practice this morning in the cup practice. Got a lot of confidence in the racetrack right now. Taking it to the high side, not even worrying about it.
Denny Hamlin also having a lot of confidence in the racetrack because he's moving up on the outside.
3 wide there coming across the stripe. He moves into the 2nd position. Edwards 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Keselowski, our pole sitter, back to 5th.
You know, we talked a lot about the exit of turn 4. A lot of the drivers I've talked to said they're going to be concerned about that just a little bit early in the race. These guys have got to get their air pressures up, get some heat in the tires to get that confidence level totally up where it needs to be.
Harvick, his win here back in 2004 in the Nationwide Series. He's opened up about a half a second lead, and there is the battle for 2nd place. Right behind him as you've got the teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing side by side. Denny Hamlin on the low side.
It looks like Denny's going to give the spot here to Kyle Busch. Man, that outside groove really does look good, even though it looks kind of gray. It's light, not a lot of rubber up there, but it looks like there's a lot of grip.
Well, Andy, like you said a little while ago, we didn't get hard rains here. We just got some light rain. And light rain will not wash the rubber off the racetrack. So they did have practice this morning here at the Cup Series, and the groove is still up there. And you see Kyle Busch, who started 5th, up to 2nd right now, and he's got the confidence, like you said.
Yeah, and here Kevin Harvick, last lap, the leader, ran under 30 seconds, at 29.98. So definitely a lot of grip.
Yeah, we qualified on pole at 29.12. Back to 14th. There you see James Buescher and Justin Allgaier coming underneath the 1 and also the 21 of John West Townley. On board with Allgaier.
You know, we talked a little while ago about the different lines. I mean, if you could run these cars on the top side, these Nationwide cars, like we said in Countdown, really like to be wound up. Mark Martin was telling us about it. Keep the momentum up. And I got to believe, Andy, if they can get that top side groove worked in pretty early, they can pick up a lot of speed up there.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about, you see how dark that groove is, and when you get up high, you get out of that rubber, and that will wear the tires out even quicker. And I would worry about that, especially early with the tire wear we've seen so far this weekend.
Yeah, well said out of a crew chief. That's something I never thought about. Yeah, well, crash and turn 1 and 2.
Into the wall. Kelly Byers in the 88 from Junior Motorsports.
You okay?
You see the brake rotor coming apart there.
Had a great run last week when he was at California.
We broke something, the right front or flew up or something. Went straight in the wall.
Broke something, went straight to the wall. He was 11th at the time of the crash.
Well, you see some of these parts that are smoking. That's part of the brake rotor. That could have happened after the crash, and likely did happen after the crash. Looks like that right front tire is down, though. It could have run over something.
It started smoking before it got to the corner. It didn't just all come at once there. It stopped now. There's definitely a trail of water or something coming out of the back of it.
Now, one thing these guys got to be concerned about, lap 7, Andy, there's a broken rotor all over the track. They got fresh tires. I'd be worried about a puncture right now.
Yeah, at this point, when I see something like that, I'll tell my driver, leave a gap. Don't run right up on the bumper of the car in front of you so you can see if there's debris out there, because we're not planning on pitting, so we want to take care of these tires.
Okay, couple of things we have to get off to you. Mark Green in the 49 will be the Aaron's lucky dog. He gets back on the lead lap. Dennis Setzer, not a happy 50th birthday for Dennis. He is our first start and park. He's behind the wall. And that's what's left of Kelly Byers' machine. Remember, he started, I think was 32nd last week at California. Came up for a 7th place finish. And then here's what happens, and bam.
Man. Yeah, that's definitely something happened to the car there. Said he felt like maybe something broke. Kind of looked like a tire going down, but it's hard to say right there.
Yeah, that didn't look like it was loose or nothing like that. Just went straight up.
Well, traditionally, we've had a caution before lap 15 in 9 of 13 prior races. Guess what? Make it 10 out of 14 as we are under our first caution. And it looks like no takers right now for pit road, but we'll keep an eye on that while we'll step aside just for a break with Kevin Harvick out in front, Kyle Busch second, Denny Hamlin third, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski rounding out your top 5. Trying to stir up the pot, believe me, but look who's right behind Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, these two definitely have a history. Brad Keselowski in his 22 and Denny Hamlin have definitely had a little feud going between them.
You would hope that's over with by right now. You know it's on both their minds.
Caution, we got another crash. The 81 of Michael McDowell is into the wall.
I thought that was Mike. That's an 81. That is McDowell.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, he had a big promotion where people who texted that code on the back
I don't know what
bumper.
fell out of it. Like, still running, but something happened right there. Something broke.
He was 27th at the time of the crash. What we were mentioning was the fact that Monte Carlo was going to give special suite rates for anybody.
Yeah, look at this car. This car turns really kind of on the straightaway, just past that tri-oval area. Man, see Danica come right through there.
Yep. Car comes back down the 20-degree banking. Here's another view.
Now, that was a real unusual place to spin at, right in the tri-oval in the front straightaway. I don't know if he got down on an apron. Don't want to speculate. We'll take another look here.
I'm not sure if he didn't have a left rear tire go down.
On board with Danica.
Dennis, have you? He's on the bottom. He's on the bottom. Going to come back up. Nice job. Nice job. Caution's out. Caution's out here.
And we can tell you that the car that was going to get the lucky dog, Mark Green, and he has taken it behind the wall, as has the 10 car of Chad Blunt. So I guess
gets the lucky dog and pulls in the garage.
Yeah. So Aaron's lucky dog goes for naught on this caution, our second, with 17 laps in the books. Boy, isn't that sunshine beautiful? Well, here they come, and it looks like the first two are going to stay out, Harvick and Busch, but Carl Edwards comes in, but nobody else.
Yeah, it looks like the next car is coming in. There's a 21 car, John West Townley.
A lot of times,
if
the car's not right, get it fixed right now. I mean, get it fixed early so you got enough time to get to the front.
Let's check in with Vince Welch because he's heading your way.
Yeah, Carl Edwards says that the balance of the car is actually good, but they're going to pull a tear off. They're going to fill it up with some fuel, and they just want to make sure that Carl has good vision out there. They're not going to put new tires on. Nothing wrong with the race car at this point, Doc.
Danica Patrick coming down pit road just in the 7 car, making a lot of progress. And the big thing here is just being very conservative early in the race. Crew wanted to make sure to keep fresh tires on the car and keep her comfortable. As she said before, very steep learning curve, but gaining confidence every single lap. If you listen to her on the radio, she sounds like a different driver than a week ago at California.
Well, she was 28th when she came in for the pit stop, back to 34th. John West Townley, Mike Wallace, Stanton Barrett, Tony Raines, they also pitted. Let's go back and listen in on Danica's radio from just a little while ago.
Oh my gosh, when a car spins, I feel like it's like a football. You just don't know where it's going to go.
She did a good job, though. You know, that car spun, and she gave him plenty of room and actually got out of the groove a little bit there to go around him.
She's had to negotiate all the wrecks in Daytona, all the wrecks in California, and she probably thinks people are always spinning in front of her.
She's getting pretty good at it.
She's done a good job.
Well, we mentioned Michael Annett in that first caution, and a report from his crew is no damage to the car, so we can pass that word along as well as everybody woed down here for our second caution. We also mentioned the fact that this does not take on the complexion of a normal race at Las Vegas. Here's the biggest one that jumps out at us. Most of the time, and I mean most of the time, the winner comes from the top 5 in qualifying. Do you know that only one of the last 7 Las Vegas races has been won by somebody in that top 5? Let's take the opportunity to talk to one of those guys that did start in the top 5, a guy who's winless here but wants to change that, Kyle Busch.
Hey, Kyle Busch, Rusty up on ESPN. You got us?
10-4.
Kyle, what's the car feeling like right now? We had a little bit of rain. Has it affected the track much at all, if any?
I don't know that it's really affected the track. Our car seems to be a little bit tight, tighter than it was yesterday. We were pretty good, so we got something a little different. The pace might have gotten a little faster today, but you know, we'll make some changes to it on the first stop, get it better.
Kyle, is the top groove of the racetrack already kind of wore in from practice this morning, the Cup Series? Is it ready to go up top?
Yeah, that's pretty much where I've been so far this whole time, is kind of second lane up, 2.5 lanes up, something like that. So it's good.
All right, Cal, thanks for talking to us.
Joe Gibbs Racing has never won here at the nationwide race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and here's the reason why for Kyle, as he has the second place run back in 07, but the rest of them not typical Kyle Busch races. Now, he has won here in Sprint Cup just last year, but not in the Nationwide Series, and he has said he wants to change it in front of his hometown fans.
Yeah, isn't that the way it goes? It's someplace that you really want to win bad, that you sometimes you maybe try too hard or make mistakes trying to win that race because you want it so bad.
I just wonder if he's thinking about that right now. He's probably thinking, hey, that was old times. This is a new year, and I just won California. I got a good car. I'm running second. I just wonder if that's in his head.
Well, let's check in on the radio from the 60 of Carl Edwards talking about green flag runs.
Here's your track position there, Carl, but that's 15 laps on fuel, 18 altogether, and that's a quarter of the way through a fuel run, so I don't want to leave you out there too long, you know?
Right, 10-4. That gives us a long time if it goes green. That's fine.
Carl?
Just be conscious if we do get a green flag run, you know, if those leaders are only a quarter of a lap behind us or something like that, you know, when they start peeling off, we don't want to be a lap down when we stop or anything like that, you know.
And Carl right now back to 25th position, but with full tanks.
Yeah, but that worries me to go back that far. I'm sure he thought more people would come with him. Back there in 25th, we've seen these problems early. The next problem will likely be in front of him. So kind of in a vulnerable spot until he can get that track position back.
Well, and a big opportunity for Danica Patrick. She is going to line up right behind Carl in 27th. She might be able to go to school and learn some things and help work her way towards the front. Let's get ready to go back to green flag racing. It's Harvick, Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. And again, Harvick takes the high side, and he was like a rocket ship the last time on the restart. This time, though, Kyle's right there.
Looks like Kyle anticipated that start just a little more than he did last time.
2 by 2 through 1 and 2. Over the bump of the tunnel.
And Harvick's car really looks good.
Boy, and it does like that high line.
It just, you just feel like you got so much more power when you get a car hooked up on the top of the racetrack. But I will tell you guys, I was impressed about how equal they were still coming off of turn 2, though. That was
well, they're not equal coming off 4 here, though.
Yeah, he's got that momentum now.
Well, we've yet to have a long run with these 2 early cautions. And there you see Brad Keselowski, as he has dropped back, he is now running in 8th position, and we even saw a little wiggle coming out of 4.
Tight racing here with Rusty's 2 cars now running side by side.
Yeah, I'm not liking watching that either.
Close your eyes then. We'll let you know. That is Brendan Gaughan in the 62 right in front of Steve Wallace.
You know, had some shots of Brendan's air dam there, and he's got big chunks knocked out of it. And I think he drove over that debris from Kelly Byers, debris coming out of the front of his car.
Definitely got a few gaps in that front valence.
We can give you an update. Michael McDowell has been released from the infield care center. He is A-OK. Unfortunately, the car is not. Justin Allgaier there in the 12 car. He is running in 10th right now. Remember, this was the race last year where he really broke out, led for the first time in his young nationwide career. Here's another one. James Buescher trying to make his way as he's had 2 good runs so far this season in that number 1 James Finch car. That's for 14th.
See, Ricky Stenhouse having a great run right there in Roush's car, the number 6 car. Qualified real well. Running about the middle of the racetrack right here, keeping that Ford wound up.
There's an update for all fans of Danica Patrick. She's currently running in 26th position. But the battle right now up front, not really much of a battle because Kevin Harvick's now opened up a half a second lead over second place Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin has his mirrors full of Brian Vickers. A little bit further back, you saw Brad Keselowski and his teammate Justin Allgaier coming through. And sneaking into this picture and not making a lot of waves, keep an eye on Greg Biffle in the 27. He is just ahead of these 2 cars, and now 3 as Paul Menard comes into the mix.
I'll tell you, this is falling right into Carl Edwards' hands. He's got about 20 more laps of fuel in his car to the rest of the field. And the field's going to have to start hitting pit road anytime now, the leaders. And Edwards has still got enough fuel to stay out there.
Edwards running in 10th. And here comes Brian Vickers in for his stop, Dave.
Sliding to a stop is Vickers' car. Been a little tight. Wrench in to fix that. That'll be a track bar adjustment, air pressure as well for Vickers. Braun Racing Crew trying to get him back off pit road in a timely fashion. 4 tires going on, and off he goes. Jamie.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., of course, being a rookie, they like to keep him conservative, so he too is tight. Unsponsored race car for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 4 tires, they tell him to go hard. 15.1 seconds, and it's a good stop.
All right, thanks, Jamie. One of the things we're looking at, we're working lap number 58. Obviously, those cars pitting right now, and here comes your race leader. This will get them past halfway, and there is more rain potentially coming. Here comes Denny Hamlin. Doc, I think you're going to be up first.
Absolutely. First stop of the day for Hamlin. They hit the car a little bit tight from the center to the corner out, so they're going to put 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, go up on the track bar was the plan, and take some air pressure out of the left side. Vince.
The 33 of Kevin Harvick. He's been the leader the whole way today. He's been happy with the car, but they're going to make a 0.2 of a pound air pressure adjustment out of that right front. Otherwise, a strong day and a good pit stop for the Harvick crew.
15.4 is a good stop. Back out on the track, and Hamlin right behind him. The 40 car, Mike Bliss, has been caught speeding on pit road. Here comes Kyle Busch. Jamie?
And Kyle stayed out and led a lap. Of course, we've been saying he's snug all the way around. Air pressure adjustment and a half round up on the track bar to get his car handling better. He's liking that top line. It's going to be 4 tires and fill it up once again. Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Justin Allgaier doesn't want to do too much to his race car. There's going to be a wedge adjustment and a little bit of air pressure for Justin pitting this time. Remember, the car was awesome at the start of the race, and now it's just tight in 1 and 2, a little free in 3 and 4. That's what they're trying to fix for Justin Allgaier. Doc? Race leader Greg Biffle on for his stop. He said the car is just a touch tight in the middle of the corner. Air pressure adjustment, left front and right rear, 4 tires and fuel.
When you saw the time on the Justin Allgaier stop, just bad.
Definitely a disaster on the right side. They had to put some lug nuts on over there and cost them a ton of time.
Well, it's gone from bad to worse for Mike Bliss. He's now going to get a stop and go because he was too fast on his pass-through penalty. Jamie, the 99's in.
And Trevor Bayne making his first stop of the day. He too is tight. That seems to be the call today because it is very cold here today. Uncharacteristic of Las Vegas this time of year. It's a good stop for young Trevor Bayne.
Excellent stop at 14 seconds. That's Paul Menard at the bottom of the screen coming out as well. There's the 22 of Brad Keselowski as he did lead a lap. Jamie?
And they've been trying to diagnose what they can do for Brad. It looks like it's going to be a track bar adjustment for him. Paul Wolf asking him question after question, having to adjust for things like wind off turn 2 and harshness in the car, in addition to tracking that funny sound and feeling he's been having. They'll get that track bar adjustment. Little trouble getting off of
pit road for Keselowski.
And trouble for Paul Menard. We've just been told by NASCAR officials he's going to get a penalty. Too fast entering pit road. He was 13th before the pit cycle for Paul Menard, but this is going to hurt him. And there is Carl Edwards. Guess what? He is your race leader. And just what you were talking about, he has 18 laps to the good, as there is Kevin Harvick right behind him.
And Kevin Harvick saying, I got to get around him to get back on the lead lap. And everybody else is not wanting a caution to come out because Carl Edwards could put everybody a lap down. And that would not be good for the field.
Well, Harvick would get the beneficiary of the lucky dog, but I think he'd rather get in front of him right now. Here comes Denny Hamlin also. But let's go back to what we were talking about. The guys that have pitted now, they can go past halfway. If we get more weather, they're in good position. Carl is going to have to stop.
Yeah, Carl's got to stop before the halfway mark, but it looks like we're going to be able to get enough laps where it's going to cycle through for him. And right now, he's got a little bit of an advantage. But they're talking now that maybe he's going to come on down pit road early.
And you see that drop down for Danica Patrick. She is running in 7th. Remember, she came in at the same time Carl came in. So that's why she has cycled through up to the 7th position and back on the lead lap. Carl looks like he is woeing it down.
Speed, 39.50.
He doesn't want to lose too much time to the other cars on fresh tires. And he took that gamble of maybe catching the caution when they pitted, but didn't come out. So now he's going to get his tires on so he can kind of keep up with them. Vince?
Yeah, you guys briefly heard a bit of a radio from Drew Blickenster for warning Carl, do not speed. Several have already been caught speeding violations on pit road. Watch your speed. They're going to make 4 tire change and air pressure adjustment as well. It's a little arrow tight in the center and loose off, but otherwise Carl Edwards has been pretty happy with this race car. So far the crew has been solid on this stop. A little hang up on the left rear, but otherwise out cleanly for Carl Edwards.
The 09 reason you're seeing that car of Scott Riggs, he is your current race leader. He's still out there. Lagasse right behind him in 2nd spot. There goes Carl back out onto the racetrack. And Riggs now pulls into pit roads, and so does Scott Lagasse Jr. So John West Townley will take over the race lead in the 21.
Yeah, and these are some cars that are going to take advantage of that extra 18 laps that they have on that fuel, and they're going to stay out there and see if they can't catch a caution. Carl elected just to come in and get tires and stay on par with the other cars that are running up front.
Joe Nemechek in the 87 right behind him there is in 2nd. Mike Wallace is 3rd. Danica Patrick 4th. And then now Danica moves up to 3rd as she has gotten around Mike Wallace right there at the top of the screen.
And this is a good move for these cars, especially Danica. She's on the lead lap now, and this is a good gamble. Stay out here and try to catch a caution and take advantage of making that pit stop early, and maybe it'll come around for her.
Well, this is a big confidence builder for her also. I mean, hey, Danica, you're running 3rd right now. You're looking good. I mean, she's got to be coming out of her skin right now with excitement about how well she's running at this point.
That is Kenny Wallace in the 28. As he's got that federated sponsorship for 8 races this year, and he gets passed on both sides as he gets loose. Mike Wallace right on the back bumper of Danica Patrick. James Buescher in the 1 car, and here comes Trevor Bayne in a freight train as they try and tighten up. That is all for position on the racetrack between Patrick and Mike Wallace.
And the top 4 cars have not pitted yet. So they're still out on the racetrack. Probably have to come down pit road another 8-10 laps or so, get their fuel and tires.
Yeah, it's been about 50 laps since they got fuel, so they got to be running low on fuel. Won't be too many more laps.
Trevor Bayne is 1 lap down right now. Remember, he did make his pit stop. He is shown in 21st position as we go on board with Trevor.
Trevor Bayne, a young guy, is doing a great job in this car. Qualifies real well and really got his head on his shoulders right about what he expects out of this car and what he wants to do in racing. Every time we've talked to him, very impressive.
Boy, James Buescher gets underneath Danica Patrick, clears and makes the pass. That is for position. Or pardon me, it's not. Buescher 1 lap down because he also came in on that last round of pit stops. We're still waiting for the race leaders currently out there to make their 2nd stops. Danica gets a little loose. You can see Bayne takes advantage of it.
Still hangs on the 3rd spot. These cars are a lap down.
They're on fresher tires, full tank of fuel. But she's getting some great experience right now.
Now this is for position. Mike Wallace just passed her for 3rd.
So move Mike to 3rd. Danica is now 4th. Kyle Busch about another 2 seconds back is in 4th position.
Oh, now look, that 99 gets way out of shape underneath James Busher.
And
Busher doing a great job of holding on to it so far.
I think he's got a tire.
He may.
He is slowing down the backstretch.
And he looks like
way out of the groove.
Looks like a left rear tire on Busher's car.
Well, I think he may have just got a lot of trash.
Yeah, there
he may have it. Yeah, he's definitely got it flat.
Now the question is, does the caution come out? It would be a huge break.
Left rear flat. James, get it to the bottom. You got a left rear flat.
He was the first car 1 lap down in 20th position as he is trying to make his way.
Oh, here he goes.
Hang on. This is where he's got to hold on, because when that left rear tire flies out, generally you spin.
He's still got a long ways to go. That's coming off turn 2. He's got to go all the way around the track to get to the pits. See, tire now may not stay together.
Well, the top
could be a big break for these cars right here now if that caution comes out.
That's right. Mike Wallace currently running in 2nd. Danica Patrick 3rd.
Copy.
The 38 of Leffler is a lap down, as is Brendan Gaughan.
Brendan Gaughan gets in the wall.
Yep, he tagged it there.
Just pushed a little too far right there. Brendan did try to squeeze it up in there. There wasn't enough room. Got a left front fender damage on that car.
That's Kyle Busch in the 18. Now, he is the first of the cars that had made that last round of pit stops, and he will inherit the race lead. Here comes Danica making her 2nd
Back
stop.
it on down. Keep it up top there.
And the one car did make it to pit road.
Come on down, straight to the cone. Straight to the cone. There you go.
So we stay green.
Now, this is where she's got to watch her pit road speed. She had a problem with this in California. Let's see if she gets this right. Doc?
Perfect entry for Danica Patrick. Remember, this is the first time she will get fresh Goodyear tires, but she ran 73 laps on the tires she started the race with and did a great job. And Rusty, you were exactly right. A huge confidence booster for her to be able to run among the top 5. 4 tires, no adjustment. They get a problem with the left front lug as they get it on, and she is away.
And that cost about 3 more seconds.
Yeah, that was a costly little mistake right there, but she's back out on the track.
John West Townley, still your race leader, 3.9 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch, but remember, he is due for a pit stop at any time. It's only the 2nd race Townley's ever led. He led 1 lap at Daytona back in February.
Well, Marty, he's running about 0.4 of a second off of what Kevin Harvick's running right now.
Yeah, here he comes. Looks like he actually damaged that left front fender and skirt area coming off the racetrack.
It knocked it up when he hit the bottom of the track, looks like, Andy.
45 miles an hour pit road speed. We've had several people busted already. And John West Townley makes it in, gives the race lead to Kyle Busch.
Yeah, through that whole cycle, Kevin Harvick lost positions to Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Harvick right now will set it for you. Now that the pit stop cycle has taken place, it is Kyle Busch, then Mike Wallace, who still has to make a stop, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, and Greg Biffle. That's your top 6.
Las Vegas native Kyle Busch leading at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Our coverage today presented by GoDaddy.com. 16 laps from the halfway point of this race, and that could be important because, oh, trouble.
Uh-oh. Ooh, that's Danica Patrick and Michael McDowell. Oh, man, she's torn up pretty bad.
Driving on the ramp you can here.
And that's a 2nd wreck today for Michael. We saw him spin on the straightaway there and getting to the wall, and now it looks like he's had another issue and collected Danica Patrick.
So caution out for the 3rd time in this race, and some pretty heavy damage to the 7 car as swept up in a crash involving Michael McDowell and Danica Patrick with a machine that is really beaten up.
It has been up pretty bad. I know Michael McDowell really wanting to run well for his sponsor Monte Carlo here in town, and they had a big to-do over there, and I know he was really wanting to do a good job for him, but that's a bent-up race car. I don't think he's going to get that one back out today.
And again, McDowell involved in a crash back at lap number 16 in turn 1 when his car went around pretty much by himself, returned to the race, but now after being down some 65 laps to the leaders has been involved in another crash again, and this one involving Danica Patrick as well. Have a look.
What happens here? Go off down the corner. It looks like Michael's losing a little bit of speed. She runs in there pretty snug on him. She said he turned down, but it looked to me like she ran in there and there just wasn't enough room. I think she slid up just a little bit and got into the left rear of Michael. And they went for a ride.
No turn signals on these cars.
No,
Judging intentions can be a little tough without hand signal out the window.
May have just misjudged a little bit of distance there, closing distance.
On board.
Just trying trying to go by him, and yeah, he does turn down just a little bit, but they're going into the corner, so he has to make the arc. And you see the rubbered up part right there on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where he was going, and it looks like she was trying to beat him to the punch. And they just collided, AB. Too bad.
So Patrick headed to the pit lane and to the garage with a heavily damaged car. And this sets up an interesting situation. We're 15 laps from halfway, which is where I was going. And by the way, there are rain showers on the radar. So champion crew chief Andy Petrie, what do? You call your guy in here?
Yeah, I'm looking at this radar, Alan, and this is where it gets dicey.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You know, you want to try to, if you think it's really imminent, you might want to stay out here, but you almost got to plan on another fuel run here. You see Jason Radcliffe trying to make that decision.
Well, they last pitted on lap 59. We're working lap 56. So, yes, they are coming. And we'll get the cycle through here. And, Doc, we're going to send it your way first.
Amazing. This could be the money stop here on lap 85, given the threatening weather. And Denny Hamlin, top of your screen, you see Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick in. Hamlin's car just a bit tight, still a tick tight, but critical to get him on and off pit road in a hurry in front of the other two. Jamie.
And Kyle Busch said he wants another round up on the track bar. He needs to free himself up. Also wants a windshield tear off because of the sprinkles. Let's go to Vince.
The 33 of Kevin Harvick making a track bar adjustment and also putting air pressure back in the right front. They're having a problem with the pit stop, and Kevin was very upset with the performance of the crew on the previous stop. So another slow stop for the 33.
There's the Nationwide Insurance race off pit road, and you can see, look at Harvick, drops 5 more spots because of a second bad pit stop. And he is not going to be a happy camper. Spent a lot of money bringing in new people, trying to improve that one key area. And you can see there's probably smoke coming out from underneath that helmet right now.
Marty,
Yeah,
I am definitely on Kevin Harvick's side here. I mean, that's absolutely unacceptable.
You can see he's on the radio now. That is very frustrating to have a car as good as they've had and to make those kind of mistakes on the pit road.
Okay, guys, I want to get you updated on some other people that are now off the track. Besides Danica, Kenny Wallace is behind the wall. So is Brian Keselowski. Kevin LePage is out. Danny O'Quinn is out. We needed to update you on those, but we've had so much action going on with the cycling through of pit stops. Earlier, Michael McDowell, he was 67 laps down, and he crashed again. Then Blunt, Green, Byers, Setzer, the first 4 out of the race. So that gives you an idea now you're caught up. And look at the fans. No matter what happens, they want to see what's happening to Danica Patrick and the 7 car. It looks like we won't see her again now behind the wheel for another 4 months until we go IndyCar racing.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR Nationwide Series action presented by GoDaddy.com. Under caution here, an incident on the racetrack involving a couple of drivers, including Danica Patrick. And Danica, from your vantage point, what happened out there?
A car ahead of me was just going really slow, and I caught him down the front straight, and he was just going slow, so I went to go underneath him as he drifted up to the wall, and then he turned down in, and I guess I probably should have seen all the tape on the left rear bumper and said I probably shouldn't be on the left rear bumper. But sure enough, he turned down and took us both out. So what are you gonna do? You know, it's a real bummer because I was really hooked up out there after we got new tires back on it, and you know, we were probably one of the quicker cars on the track because we had just stickered up, and I felt good. And you know, Kevin Harvick was great actually, leading the race. He's telling me to go up high with him, so you know that was cool, and I was able to run up high and feel that line out because you know, because he was giving me the finger out the window. So you know, that's really cool to see that because the guy's leading the race and he's taking time to help me out. So. And the top line was good, so and I kept trying to remember what he said before the race, being driving into the corner. So I learned for sure. We had a good car, we really did, and I said that when, you know, earlier, we have a better car than where we qualified, and unfortunately we just got caught in a bad situation with a driver that wasn't looking and probably a spotter that wasn't calling.
From a confidence standpoint, what does it do for you knowing that when they waved the green flag, you made a move and started passing people right away and moving up in the field?
Well, it's a departure from Fontana where I pretty much just let out of it, and because I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't feel like throwing it into the wall because I'm not a crasher. It felt good, you know, making passes from the beginning. The only little hiccup really was on that first restart, I think, when there was the line stopped up and I wasn't sure what the rules were about passing before the start-finish line, but I could have passed to the right, so I could have saved myself some spots there. But all in all, I mean, I was having fun out there, so it's just a shame that we got taken out.
We can't wait to get you back in June to have some more fun. Good luck to you in IndyCar.
Thank you.
Marty?
All right, Doc, and we want to make sure you understand the finger that she was referring to being pointed was come on up here on the high side, and the way that came out and the gesture wasn't quite seen by there it is, right there. Thanks, guys in the tape room.
He's trying to motion her, say, hey, look, let's move up to the outside here. Follow me. You know, go up here on this outer lane. You can pick up some speed. I think he's really trying to help her here.
I was hoping that's what he was doing.
Yeah,
it really looks like it is because he did it for so long. You're right, Andy. He kept pointing to the right-hand side. Get up here. Let's go.
Well, unfortunately for Kevin, though, his pit crew on the last 2 stops have really put him into a hole. He is now in 9th position. And it's just been a real challenge for them. And we mentioned the fact that they already have made changes before the season started. Let's go back and show you what happened on this last pit stop and watch this left front.
You see the crew come around here. Now, this is kind of getting old for Kevin. He's really kind of getting wearing thin on him, these pit stops. You see that the left front, they dropped lug nuts, and now the responsibility falls right here. That tire carrier should be helping this tire changer pick up these lug nuts. He's kind of left his wingman hanging, and this costs him a ton of time. See, if that tire carrier reaches down and puts those lug nuts on, they save a lot of time.
Every week, we have a bad pit stop. Tired of it. Like a bunch of idiots on pit road is what you look like.
Well, one problem you got right now is it's not only the pit stops costing him time, this is really bad for morale. Have bad pit stops, it's hurting Kevin's confidence and the confidence of the crew. So this kind of can compound itself.
Doesn't it feed on itself also because now they feel the pressure. They know they've let him down twice, so now they're trying even harder. And the harder sometimes you try, the worse it gets.
Yeah, you see right here, they were equal with Carl Edwards, who had a 13-second stop. They were equal till they got around to the left side. That's where disaster struck.
So a lot of hard work out on the racetrack by Kevin Harvick has put him back in 9th place because of what's happening on pit road. And it's not going to be a fun team meeting.
Marty, you can't blame Kevin at this. So, I mean, if you've ever been to Kevin's operation, I've been there a couple times. It's a fantastic place. He puts his heart and soul into it. It's his own team. And he's got a rocket ship of a race car and a pit stop, something that he can't put his hands on to fix it.
Well, we will now have a total of 33 cars still out on the racetrack. Danica Patrick, of course, now out of this race with the damage. We gave you the list of the others. Let's reset it for you. It'll be Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin, Brian Vickers, Greg Biffle, Brad Keselowski. That is your top 6 as they are coming through turns 3 and 4, getting ready for this restart. Just 9 laps from halfway. We had a total of 9 cars on the wave around. Try and get you Brendan Gaughan, Stenhouse, Howard, Nemechek, Townley, Buscher, Robert Richardson, Eflin, and Josh Wise. So got all that updated for you as we go back to green flag racing here at Las Vegas.
And we see them 4 wide back here. I'm not sure who jumped out of line. Looked like a couple of them before the start-finish line. Looks like they're going to black flag the 43 of Scott Lagacy for passing to the right before the start-finish line.
And look at the battle for the race lead up front. Kyle Busch on the high side. Carl Edwards down low.
Got that big momentum on the top side of the racetrack we talk about all the time. And remember, these nationwide cars don't have near the power that the Cup guys do, and they like that top side, man. Keep them wound up.
Talk about liking the top side. Brian Vickers really works the top of the racetrack as good as anybody. Here he is now in 2nd spot. He's looking right at the back bumper of Kyle Busch.
And remember, this race last year, Vickers and Edwards both got a lap down late in the race. Let's move a little further back because here comes Kevin Harvick trying to get underneath the 11 of Scott. That is for position for 10th. Paul Menard right behind him. Trevor Bayne in the 99 right in front. That is 9th position. Justin Allgaier, that is also a spot for 8th. Stephen Wallace in front of that group in the 66 alongside of the 22 of Brad Keselowski. And again, Stephen looking for his 5th straight top 10 dating back to last year, Dave.
And Marty, it's amazing when race cars do what they were supposed to do. When he radioed in to crew chief Scott McDougall, he said, you know what, it was a little bit loose at the start, but it really came to me. That's exactly the way these cars work these days. A little free to begin with, hard to handle, but then they come to you as Brian Vickers goes for that spot on Carl Edwards. Steve Wallace's car did exactly what he wanted to. No changes on that stop for the 66.
And you saw Edwards go down below the white line. That is not out of bounds here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, but it looked like it hurt his momentum. It looked like he had a little run on Brian Vickers, and when he got down there on that apron, it looked like it actually slowed him up a little bit.
Right now he's got side by side with Denny Hamlin, and there comes Biffle, last year's winner. Remember, he was sick as a dog, thought about climbing out of the car. He too got a lap down late in the race, came back from 30th to end up winning it. That's what we always said about this track. It seems like it is a bizarre race almost every time we've come here.
You know, Marty, setting up for the end of the race, it was good watching these restarts. You're watching Steve Wallace and Justin Allgaier there, tight race there.
That is side by side for 7th position.
I was about to say, it really taught these guys where they need to restart when it comes down to the money lap, the last stop.
Well, we are just about 3.5 laps away from, in fact, now 3 laps away from the halfway point, and this race being official. I can tell you that off to the west, it is looking pretty gloomy. But this race will be official before that rain ever gets here.
And this is where it'll get tricky. If that rain does get here before the scheduled end of the race, that's when it's going to get tricky on when is it actually going to get stopped. But
well, Carl Edwards right now trying to close down on Denny Hamlin. Let's get an update. Vince?
Well, they're definitely keeping an eye on the weather. In fact, crew chief Drew Blickensderfer has a friend stationed well outside the racetrack. And, you know, a lot of teams have sophisticated weather radar systems. They're doing it the old-fashioned way with a phone. The friend will text Blickensderfer when it starts raining where he's located, and then Drew will know how close the rain actually is. And I can tell you guys, I'm feeling a couple of sprinkles right now as Edwards tries to make his way toward the front. Dave.
Vince, similar discussion in pole sitter Brad Keselowski's camp. Here's a radio from crew chief Paul Wolf.
All right, there's only going to be 8 laps till halfway here, so still need to be smart here, but if you think you can take something, I'd get what you can.
Get what you can. And about that being smart, Brad Keselowski then said one of the oldest cliches in the racing book. It is, to finish first, you have to first finish. So Brad keeping his steps light there, but trying to do what he can before this rain possibly hits.
Well, he and Biffle got a good battle going on right here.
Biffle on the high side in the 27. Baker Curb, Ford, and the 2 Dodges underneath him. And here comes Kevin Harvick trying to get into this mix as well.
Remember the beginning of the race, Brad Keselowski sat on the pole but faded quite a bit. And it looks like they've got this thing turned around now and going the right direction.
Well, you said it when we were down in qualifying. We were getting ready to talk to him. You said, I don't care where this guy qualifies, he will be there at the end of the race.
I'm telling you, when that pay window starts to open up, Brad Keselowski starts moving to the front.
Andy, I think I heard Brad Keselowski earlier say, hey, we had an engine missing. Maybe it's down in 7 cylinders. They switched to the B box on the ignition system. And I was watching his lap times. It looks like that car really picked back up. So I think he's probably all healed up and looking good now. You know, talk about the rain. It's pretty wild out here in Vegas. I'm looking off at turn 1. It's raining over in Las Vegas and at the end of the Dulles Airport, but not here at the track.
Boy, look at Kyle Busch. As we check the time, it is now a 3.2 second lead as we are now past halfway. This race is official. And it doesn't matter what happens with the rain. It's just a matter now of will we get the rest of the laps in. And boy, Kyle Busch out of this race early last year. In fact, it was his only true DNF. There's technically a second one, but that was the race that Denny Hamlin took over for him and then later crashed. So it was credited to him since he started the car back at California last October. But this one was on him, and he freely admitted it. But right now, he's sailing away at 3.5 seconds as we go on board with Jason Leffler. Leffler in 13th, looking ahead at Brian Scott for the position.
Let me tell you one thing that's amazing. You listen to that throttle on Leffler's car. Andy, I was listening to him go to the corner, just barely part throttle, hardly on the brake at all.
Caution is out for rain. You can see the drops on our lens. And Kyle Busch is sitting in pretty good position right now.
All right, Marty, I should have kept my mouth shut. Said it wasn't raining here, but it's raining all around us.
Maybe you were talking to your imaginary friend sitting beside you or something.
I don't think that's going to get any response from him on that one. And the lucky dog's going to go to Paul Menard. That will put 19 cars back on the lead lap. As Paul, remember, he had a penalty on pit road earlier. That's what set him back. But for Kyle Busch, now it's going to be a matter of, does the rain stop and do we go back to green flag racing?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, it's really, the weather's one of the hardest things to predict, and whether this thing is going to get the complete track wet and stop the race here, or are we going to get it back going again?
I mean, you take a look at it to the south of us, there's nothing there, and it's kind of light, and we've been seeing this a lot throughout the day. I don't think this is going to be a hard rain, but you know what? I'm not. I can't control.
So are you going to make the call here? what would you do? I'd stay out. I mean, they are staying out here, and you can see the guys up front can't afford to come in until they know that the track's going to be raceable.
I know NASCAR though, Andy. They want to give these guys, race fans, a race.
Oh, they're going to do everything they can.
I guess that's one good thing. We can disagree with each other, and if I was those guys, I'd come down pit road. I would get it done, get it out. Don't get myself stuck.
We're in Vegas, so that's a gamble.
Gamble for it, man. Let's go for it. Of course, I don't know if I'm right or not.
Yeah,
that's a disclaimer right there. Okay?
Some of these cars took the wave around now, so they needed to come to pit road.
Ricky Stenhouse
for them.
And there's Brendan Gaughan as he is in. He peeled off in 15th position.
Car's loose, putting that track bar down. See that?
Yeah, they're not giving up a lot here. They were already back there in those spots, so they can come in and get tires, and they'll be sitting in the catbird seat if it does go back green here after a delay.
Well, it's going to give us an opportunity to step aside for just a break. And there you'll see the top 5. And we'll reset things for you when we come back here to Las Vegas.
I got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you.
Here's what's happened so far in our 5-hour energy rapid recap. Trouble early for Kelly Byers.
Yeah, it looked like Kelly had something happen in the right front suspension parts of the car. Not quite sure. Hit the wall hard, lap 6, brought out the first caution.
Kevin Harvick dominated this race early, then has had 2 bad pit stops that has left him a little bit back in the pack.
Well, they've struggled on pit road all year long for Kevin Harvick. He was gone, hear me? Gone before those pit stops. Now he's mired back in about 7th, 8th place. Still has time, though, if we go green, to get back amongst them.
Danica Patrick started the race in 37th spot, moved up nicely early.
A little racy today. I was impressed with Danica Patrick. Did a good job of mixing it up. Outrun Mike Bliss there a couple of times. You see her go in the corner here with Michael McDowell. Michael turns left, she turns up. Both of them at fault. Both of them tore up. Both of them on the truck.
Kyle Busch has been out in front of this race for the most part since lap number 58. He picked up the lead during an exchange of green flag pit stops, an exchange of green flag pit stops, and held off Carl Edwards on a restart.
Yeah.
He's been gone.
Never won this race. I think he thought he was going to get lucky a little while ago with the rain, but it looks like the rain might subside. They get to go green again, so he's going to have to earn it, which we know he can do.
Now, none of the front runners pitted under this caution, seeing the radar and seeing that there's still rain in the area. You got a couple guys a little bit farther back, some of the guys that took the wave around on the last yellow that now have fresher tires back in the pack. So we'll see what kind of mixing it up we get here. What do they call that over in the casino? Just let it ride?
Let it ride, baby. Let it ride.
All right. Marty, Rusty, and Andy, we're going to let it ride.
Well, we got to get Brad amped up a little bit. I don't think he's excited enough about this race.
We're racing, baby. Come on.
Great stuff, guys. Get ready to go back to green flag racing with Kyle Busch, your leader. Then it's Brian Vickers, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, and Justin Allgaier. That is your top 6. And boy, Justin Allgaier, after his run here last year, could he put himself into a position to get Dodge its first win? Right now, somebody's got to figure out Kyle Busch, because here he goes again. Vickers on the inside. Vickers got a great jump and coming out of 2 on the backstretch. Here comes Kyle.
Yeah, but look at that momentum kicking in again down that back straightaway. It makes that Toyota look like it's got another 100 horsepower.
Carl Edwards trying to follow him as well. And right behind Carl is the 12 of Allgaier.
All these guys have to be getting antsy. They know that weather's coming. They need to get every spot they can get right now.
Everybody in the top 11 all last pitted at lap 86. So that means they've got about 23 laps on these tires. So it's pretty much an equal battle as we go on board with Carl.
You know, Andy, I can tell you, these drivers definitely get a little more cranked up right now, knowing there's a weather around there. They got 91 laps to go. They're not driving the car right now like they did at the beginning of the race. They're driving these cars with a lot of urgency right now.
Yeah, you know how they race on a green-white checker? Well, they don't know when that checker's coming out, so they're racing as hard as they can right now.
Tough break for the fans of Michael Annett. He is behind the wall heading for the garage area. It sounds like it's transmission from what we are hearing on the radio. So Annett is likely out of this race.
And that's too bad because he had a great run going on. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been looking really good out there.
He was 14th before taking it back to the garage area.
See Harvick now trying to make up some of those spots they lost in the pits.
Harvick in 8th position right now. And you see right in front of him, got Brad Keselowski, Biffle, Hamlin, a slew of cars that he's trying to work his way up to. Going to go on the low side to see if he can get under the 22 of Keselowski.
This car is working so good today. It's just so frustrating for him having all these problems on pit road.
You're talking about pit road, the 27 car, Greg Biffle. They're using Jack Roush's pit crew on this particular team. I was talking to the guys earlier, and Andy, a couple guys from the team, the catch can man and a gas man they're using, but the rest of them are Roush guys.
Now, how about Allgaier right here now? He's having a great run on the right side of your screen, passing Carl Edwards.
And on the left side, you've got Kevin Harvick duking it out with Biffle as he gets around him. That is for 6th position. And here comes Brad Keselowski also to take over a spot. But Biffle says maybe not quite this soon. Boy, Allgaier looking good right now, up into 3rd position. Remember, he led this race last year. These two still going side by side. Great.
They've been locked together, seems like, since the last time they pitted.
And it looks like he's going to finally clear him. So move Keselowski into 7th, move Biffle back to 8th. And while this action continues, let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch. He's caught up with Michael McDowell.
Yeah, back in the garage, Marty, and Michael's been over to apologize to Danica Patrick's team. Michael, what happened?
Well, we had a flat early on in the race, and the car got tore up pretty good, and we were just trying to get some points and get back out there. And I guess she was coming out on new tires, and the closing rate was so much. I tried to give her the outside. I sort of committed to it, and she dove to the bottom, and I closed the door. It's completely 100% my fault, and I hate it for everyone at Junior Motorsports and everyone on the GoDaddy car. And you know, it's like I said, I take 100% responsibility. It's just the closing rate was so much that there wasn't a whole lot of time to make a decision.
As they say, guys, that's racing.
Well, and a nice job of Michael just saying, hey, it's my fault, and let's move on.
Hey, Marty, he said one thing about points. You know, going out there for points, you got to be in the top 30 after race 5 is over to be locked in. And I'll tell you, we're at race 3 right now. They can't afford to make a mistake.
Check out Allgaier now. He's going for 2nd with Brian Vickers. He's got his car hooked up.
They are toe-to-toe, as you also saw Harvick get around Denny Hamlin, moving him up to 5th. Let's get an update on the 12. Dave Burns.
Justin Allgaier told me this weekend, Marty, that the hardest part for him has been entering turn 1 because he likes to drive it in very, very far into the corner, and that's one of the bumpiest portions of the track. They make significant suspension adjustments to the car that allowed him to drive through there, and as he takes 2nd place, they've overcome the issues, and Justin's on his way.
Well, he finished 8th here last year. It was his first of 14 top 10 finishes in the 2009 season, on his way to Rookie of the Year honors. And as we look in right now, you still see a great battle between two guys that have a lot of history. Denny Hamlin in the 20 and the 22 of Brad Keselowski.
You see Keselowski now trying to make a move. Denny Hamlin's car has not been as good this run.
Well, they're going too fast right here, Andy, to rough each other up.
Got more contact into the wall. It is the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And this is the last thing he's needed because Stenhouse had some problems
right side tires on it and get him
earlier this season in our other 2 races.
Okay, crew chief, you going to pit now?
Yeah, if it's still a weather prediction. You know, it's going to be a tough call for some of these crew chiefs.
See if we can see what happened. He was running 15th at the time, just slides it up.
Got too high.
Oh.
We're about halfway through a run, so these leaders have to think about making a pit stop.
He was 36th at Daytona, 39th last week at California. They're looking for sponsorship, and like I said, this was the last thing that team needed.
Yeah, I think I'd have to pit this car right now, these leaders. I mean, I'd hate to get stuck out there with you know, this thing running green flag, and these guys have to pit under green. And I'm sure they're thinking that. This rain to me looks like it's staying away.
They're all looking up the sky. They're trying to make a decision. There's Harvick's crew chief.
You think he's telling the pit crew to get it right or what?
It's been 32 laps since they all last pitted. So the question is, do you dare push it, thinking that the rain is going to come, or do you take the tires and the fuel and then you don't worry about it?
I think you go ahead and take your tires and fuel right now, because it looks like we're going to go green at least for a while.
Taking right sides only here.
Yeah, there we go. Right sides only. That's probably not a bad call. That's Jason Radcliffe talking to Kyle Busch.
But that's not what he was talking to us about doing when we were with him in qualifying
it's a little
today.
different situation. You see the leaders coming now.
Right sides only in fuel.
Well, we're going to find out who does what. Jamie, the whole herd is heading your way.
They sure are, led by our race leader, Kyle Busch. I'll tell you, it has gotten very windy down here and even colder. He said he just needs a little more help in the center. Going to go up just a tick more on the track bar. Right side tires only. This could be the money stop. Vince?
They've been talking a lot about the weather in the 60 pit, and they also are talking about their race car, which is just a hair tied across the center. 2 tires stop. Dave.
Justin Allgaier gives up second. Wedge, free in, tight off. Wedge for Brian Vickers as well. 2 tires stop for him, 4 for Allgaier.
Well, we'll see if that pays dividends, as the Nationwide Insurance Race Off Pit Road shows you that Edwards and Harvick pick up 3 spots each. So a good pit stop for Harvick. But Kyle Busch drops 4 positions while only picking up 2. And let's take a look and see what happened.
Yeah, 12-second 2-tire stop, not up to par. See, they come in here, they want to get in and out. They're changing these right sides. Have a little problem there on that right rear, getting it off.
So very costly for Kyle Busch as he comes back out onto the racetrack, and I guarantee you he is not a happy camper right now. We'll reset it. While we've got a moment, let's remind you that ABC's your home for NBA Sunday Showcase. First at 1 Eastern, it's Steve Nash leading the Suns against Tim Duncan and the Spurs. Then at 3:30 Eastern, top 2 teams in the West renew their rivalry. Nuggets battle the Lakers. NBA Sunday Showcase, Suns, Spurs, Nuggets, Lakers, and ABC. And coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific with the GMC Sierra NBA Countdown. Well, I have to admit, folks, Rusty Wallace is hoping for a torrential downpour. And the reason is you see that 62 car sitting up front. And I know you're not saying a word. But
well, he's one of the gamblers now. He stayed out here. He's trying to gamble on the rain coming.
3 cars stayed out. Joe Nemechek and John West Townley. So they're your top 3. Then those that stopped, Carl Edwards 4th, Kevin Harvick 5th, Brian Vickers 6th, Brad Keselowski 7th, Kyle Busch in 8th position.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch is right. Let's go back and show you what happened on the pit stop.
This is a comparison. You can see right there that 4 seconds they gave up there on the left side, or the right side, when they changed right side tires, just killed them. Also, it's 4 spots.
Now the top 3 that stayed out last pitted on lap 105. We are getting ready to complete lap 122. So that gives you an idea just how much they have left in the tank and on the rubber. But here we go, back to green flag racing. And Carl Edwards is all over the back bumper of the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Here comes Vickers as well, and Kyle Busch. Boy, shot out of a cannon.
Not going to be back there long.
Restarts in 8th, and now he's up to 3rd.
Ooh, they're 3 and 4 right down his back straightaway now. 3 wide into turn 3.
Keselowski looking on the low side as well in that 22. He's got Harvick right up above him, and notice the raindrops on our camera lens. So far, we're still green. Here goes for the race lead. At the stripe, Carl Edwards gets credit. 9 different leaders, 14 lead changes today. Kyle Busch, the defending series champion, up into 2nd.
Is Carl Edwards going to be able to make that car wide enough for a few laps here?
Vickers running in 3rd. Brendan Gaughan has faded back to about 5th. On board we go. Harvick coming up on Brendan back there. You can also see the 98 of Paul Menard in the mix. He is running in 4th. Remember when he was a lap down? That team has really rallied back as well.
A lot of gambles on that last pit stop. 2 tires, 4 tires.
Denny Hamlin going underneath Stephen Wallace. That is for position. That's the battle for 9th.
Now, keep in mind, guys, if this thing goes the full distance, they still can't make it all the way.
That's right. Harvick looking to go underneath the Vickers for third. We've got passing about 3 different spots all over the racetrack in the top 15. And again, you can see the water droplets on the lens of our camera.
Yeah, Marty, this is the only thing that makes this part of the race crucial right now is the rain, because like Andy said, you got to stop one more time. It's not money time yet.
But the laps at 30.1 seconds last time by for the race leader. So they're not saving anything because they know they can't afford to.
You see Kyle Busch now. He's trying to work over Carl Edwards. Carl's car looks really good right here, and he's got that clean air on the front of the car.
A little bit further back, that's Justin Allgaier. And we're getting word now that the 6 is also headed for the garage area. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has taken it behind the wall. Parker Kligerman is also back behind the wall, so that updates you on those 2 cars while all this action continues out on the track. That's Allgaier in 8th with Stephen Wallace all over him. View back from Stephen to Denny Hamlin.
Just really amazed about how much these guys are in the throttle all the time and not rolling out. We don't see this at a lot of racetracks.
Yeah, this track has so much grip, and the tire they brought here just matches up so well that they really do have a lot of grip. They can hold that throttle almost on the mat all the way around.
You know, I shouldn't say what I'm about to say, but we saw a lot of wrecks off of turn 4 last year here. And Goodyear seems like they bought this new tire back. It's got a lot more grip. We're just not seeing the problems we saw last year off of turn 4, guys.
Well, one of the things that's happened, the track has aged some, and it has lost grip and allowed Goodyear to come back with a little softer compound, and that combination has been a lot better for the teams.
You see the 23 of Robert Richardson down low. He had a pass-through penalty for speeding on pit road. He just finally served it. That's why he is coming back up to speed. And we should tell you that Kenny Wallace brought it back out for a few laps, but he now, too, has taken his 28 car behind the wall and headed for the garage one more time. Battle right now between Brendan Gaughan and Justin Allgaier. These guys were duking it out for Rookie of the Year honors. Boy, I'll tell you what, look at the Allgaier, man. That he loves this racetrack.
It's a good day for Justin Allgaier. I mean, every now and then people have cars that are great, and the next week they're not so great. Today, he's got a great car.
The battle for 14th on the right side of the screen as you see what's going on also on the left side. This has been the trend that we've seen so far, guys. We've been at Daytona. We've been also, you know, to the 2-mile track out in California. This is our first 1.5 miles, and we're seeing a lot of good passing throughout the top 20.
Yeah, I'm looking at this last round of pit stops. Justin Allgaier is the top running car that took 4 tires that last time. You saw a lot of these front runners take 2 tires. That could come into play if we have a long run.
I started saying, I was watching some of these cars that took 2 tires. They definitely don't look near as good as they did before. So the 4 are definitely faster.
Denny Hamlin, this 20 car, also took 4 tires.
Well, let's get an update on the 12 car, Dave Burns.
And think about this as Hamlin closes in on Allgaier now. Earlier, a slow pit stop, and Allgaier had to pass his way back to the front of the field. And now the decision to take 4. Again, passing maybe more cars today than anybody else. But that last decision, the 4 tires, may be the one that really pays off.
Well, he is closing down quickly on Paul Menard, and that is for 6th on the track. The battle for 3rd is heating up. Vickers and Harvick. We go on board with Kevin. Here goes Denny underneath the 12. Again, we've got passing on 2 different spots of the track, all within the top 10. Great action here at Las Vegas. Vickers holds off Harvick for 3rd, but the other 2 are side by side for 7th.
Like I said, every one of these guys want to try to get every spot they can. You can see Denny Hamlin slips just a little bit, and Allgaier gets a spot.
Well, it also
Harvick
allowed Menard to sort of pull away from both of them.
See Harvick really working Vickers over now. Looks like he's going to get it.
So now Kevin Harvick gets back into the 3rd position. He is 1.7 seconds behind our race leader, Carl Edwards. Edwards leads Kyle Busch by 0.8 of a second. That's why we're showing you this action, because this is the best battles we've got on the racetrack.
See if we get a clear time on Kevin Harvick's 33 right here compared to Carl Edwards, the leader.
Brad Keselowski, and he gives a little gesture out the side because he got around the 32. And again, here we see as the run continues, that car seems to dial in the longer the run goes.
You see now this 12 car of Allgaier working over Paul Menard.
He has caught back up to Paul. This is for 6th on the racetrack, and Denny Hamlin's trying to pick, okay, which guy am I going to go with? And right now he's saying, okay, Paul, it looks like it might be you. Might have been a bad choice. Allgaier clears the 98. Here comes Hamlin around. And again, as the longer this run goes, I think maybe that 4-tire deal is really going to pay some dividends.
Yeah, it should start coming into play if they have that run all the way on a fuel tank run. But these two cars, the 12 and the 20, should have a little better, definitely have better tires, and whether it'll be speed, we'll see.
That battle sort of settled down now, as you can see those three, and Allgaier trying to open up some room between he and the 20 of Denny Hamlin. There is your race leader going past into turn number 3. Edwards lead now up to 9/10 of a second. Go back a little further in the pack, and then you could see the 38 of Jason Leffler. That's with Biffle for 13th position.
Those guys were 3 wide off of turn 2 just then. And here's stuck somehow.
Well, and here's Brendan Gaughan side by side with Stephen Wallace. And remember, Brendan did not pit, so those older tires are starting to haunt him right now as he has dropped back from the race lead. He is right now in 11th and under attack.
Well, Brendan had that fender damage on the left front. He pretty well had to stay out and do what he did to maintain that track position. These guys are all setting up for this last pit stop, which is going to be the money stop for sure.
Well, and Biffle, the big surprise, I think, right now is I think all of us thought the way Biffle was running earlier, he'd be higher up in the mix, although he goes on the high side to get around and makes a nice pass. Here comes Trevor Bayne to do it as well.
Whoa,
and look out. Nice recovery by the 62 of Gaughan.
Tell you what, this 3 wide stuff, Andy, off of turn 4, I'm not sure that's going to cut it. They've been doing it off of turn 2 also, and hey, you know as well as I do, these cars get wicked loose when they get in those positions.
Like we talked about, the tire combinations made the cars drive better, and they've been able to control them a little more. And you see that right there. They make a little contact, and they're still able to maintain control.
See Jason Leffler right there in a 38 car. He's been one of the Nationwide Insurance regular drivers that have been here year after year, having another solid run today, gaining points. We talked about at the end of race 5, this guy's got to be in the top 30. Can't afford any blown motors or stuff like that to jeopardize that.
And Carl Edwards, you know, he gets the lead off pit road, and we saw Kyle Busch just take off and pull like 3 seconds on the field, but now that he has to follow Carl Edwards, he's not as fast as he was.
Kyle's had that clean air the whole time where he's had that car up front, good downforce on the front fenders, makes these cars turn good, and now Carl's got it on those 2 tires, and that is really key. Vince, got more on Carl?
Well, you know, it's interesting with this crew chief change that was made with this team. Mike Kelly moving on to be the director of competition for the Nationwide Series, and Drew Blickensderfer going on top of the box as Carl's crew chief. Drew said that he thought there might be a little transition for him personally because it's been a year or so since he's worked on these race cars, but he and Mike Kelly are such good friends. Kelly has helped with this transition, and I just saw Mike a few moments ago behind the pit box of the 60, and he gave a sly smile. Blickensderfer may be on top of the box, but there's no doubt about it. It's a tag team effort for Mike Kelly and Drew Blickensderfer for this 60 today.
Well, in the 19 prior races, as you see, that is Paul Menard with Brian Scott. That is for 8th position. Let's put a period on that because in 19 races that those two have been together, Blickensderfer and Carl Edwards, 14 top 10s, 13 top 5s, and 7 wins.
See Trevor Bayne on the outside and left-hand side of your screen getting around Leffler. He's got a good run going on. Today I've been really impressed, Andy, how these young guys have been really minding their P's and Q's out here. Really nobody putting herself in tight positions. Been a clean race so far.
Yeah, if you look at that 99, Trevor Bayne, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he races with a lot of poise out there. I have been impressed with him and some of these other young guys that they really race a lot higher level than you think that their experience would have them racing.
And a huge disappointment for Trevor. Daytona, the first race of the year, 7 laps in the race, in the wall. Lost a lot of points. Talk about a disappointment, but he's making up for it today.
Yeah, Daytona was definitely not his fault, and he handled that situation very well. Very mature guy.
Look at the battle for 8th place. Brian Scott, I'll tell you, this rookie has been very impressive early in the season. The 98. Oh, he goes around.
Man,
did you see the sparks as he hits the wall?
Yeah, it looks like he got on that apron.
You come on down pit road.
I'm wondering if something broke. Did you see the sparks?
No, it looked like he may have gotten against that, got on that apron right there.
Yeah, he was pinching you, bud.
He was 9th at the time of the crash.
Take a look at it here.
And a tough break for Brian Scott. Now remember, he had that broken hand from last August in the truck race, and he's about to get it worked on again. Here's a replay.
And you can see right here, just right. He doesn't actually catch the apron. Looks like he's just in that zone where you get so loose underneath the car. Paul didn't give him a lot of room, but hey, it's racing.
Yeah, well, Paul didn't do anything wrong whatsoever. And Brian was all the way to the bottom of the track. Let's watch this again on the white line. See, he just gets loose right there. And then he has no room to let the car slide up, walk it up the track, I call it. And around he goes.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not a walk.
Let's get him to have a walk to the ambulance right now.
All right, let's just listen. This gives you an idea.
Sorry, I had to say out.
Yeah, you and me both. It is. So there's the damage on the 11. As the crew is going to take a look, but I think it's pretty well hurt.
Well, they can make it from here, Andy. When
They can make it. Yeah, that's the thing. They can make it from here, so it's still a tough decision, though. You look out the window, and rain is around us.
It actually looks like it has gone to the north of the track, because I can now see part of downtown Las Vegas that just a half an hour ago we could not see.
Well, you see the team's getting ready to pit. They have to make this pit stop right now because they can make it all the way. They need to get the car full of fuel. You'll see some of these cars that took 2 tires now take 4 tires, and maybe even opposite for some of the cars that took 4 last time.
If you're just joining us past the top of the hour, we had an hour and 35-minute rain delay, when right now we are, well, working lap 146, and everybody is coming down pit road. And Jamie, you're up first.
And Jason Ratcliffe calling the shots for Kyle Busch. Says, yes, the weather does look good right now, so come on in. Let's make some adjustments. The 2-tire stop definitely hurt him. They're going to put 4 on this time around, go up a little bit more in the track bar. Car continues to get tight, Vince.
No adjustments on the 60. They're very happy with the race car. In fact, Drew Blickensderfer said, don't wipe off the grill. They don't want to change anything. And he said, don't rush it, crew. No mistakes here, just like all day. Dave?
Brad Keselowski gives up 4th, just a little bit tighter, but they won't make any changes. 4 tires for Keselowski, as he'll be about the 4th or 5th car off. Here comes a cluster leaving the track.
Wow, and some big gambles taken. Denny Hamlin with 2 tires picks up 6. Remember, Allgaier took 4 the last time, so he just took fuel. He picks up 4. Carl loses 2, and look at Trevor Bayne with 2 tires, picks up 8 spots. This is going to get good. All right, thanks, Steve, for the update up there. And, of course, we have a few more laps that we've got to turn because of the rain delay that we had. Denny Hamlin will be shown as our race leader. Justin Allgaier in 2nd. Carl Edwards 3rd. Trevor Bayne 4th. Kyle Busch rounds out your top 5 with Kevin Harvick shown in the 6th position right now. All right, so while we continue under this yellow, let's go back to the moment when Kevin Harvick actually put tape on the front of the car. Temperature has been dropping. Let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage and check in with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Marty. What the deal is right here, folks, as the air temperature comes down, you want more airflow in there. Well, the engine wants to run a certain temperature, so you can actually put more tape on the grill. What that's going to do is lower the drag coefficient of the car, as well as additional downforce to the front to run these corners even faster. Marty?
And it has gotten very chilly. A number of the fans are bundled up as tight as they can. And they have, there you can see just how much tape they have put on that car. And let's watch what happens.
Yeah, you want just as little airflow through that grill as possible because, like Tim said, there's a lot of performance there. So you see the tire carrier has a piece of tape in his hand, and he slaps a little piece on there for just that little advantage. See right here, Kyle Busch also. This is how they do it. You see the tire carrier just reaches up there, slaps a little tape. Be surprised how much that'll help.
We can tell you Mike Wallace is the recipient of the lucky dog, and so that will put a total of 18 cars on the lead lap. And we have a total of 13 cars either off or out of this race, including Danica Patrick. She will finish the day in 35th position after having a crash with Michael McDowell. While we've got a chance, let's talk about ABC because it's the home for the NBA Sunday Showcase. First, 1 Eastern, it is the Suns against the Spurs. 3:30 then, you've got the battle in the West, the Nuggets and the Lakers. NBA Sunday Showcase. Those two teams. Coverage begins on ABC 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific with the GMC Sierra NBA Countdown. And a total of 7 waiver rounds. It's the 61 of Josh Wise, James Busher, Scott Lagasse, Stanton Barrett, Eric McClure, Brian Keselowski, and Tony Raines. So all those cars come back around. And as we said, that gives us a total, well, that'll actually bump up a few more to back on the lead lap. Total of 24 cars now on the lead lap.
You know, Marty, one thing fans always ask me all the time is why is it when you come down to pit stop and you put tape on the grill, Andy, you always put it on the left-hand side of the grill? Why is that?
Well, I mean, the thinking is that you want to put more downforce on the left side than you do the right side to try to stick that left front tire. I'm not sure, you know, just exactly how much of that effect you get, but that's the thinking anyway.
Drivers like to feel the left front tire a lot. I know I did when I was driving. I'm like, I don't care about that right front. Get that left front to pull that car around, man. I don't want that right front to push it around. And boy, tape is everything. It's amazing how that little bit of tape will do that.
One of the things we're going to find out, Justin Allgaier, remember, he took 4 tires on the second to last pit stop on lap 119 and only did fuel here on lap 146. That gives you an idea just how many laps he's got on those tires. He's going to be on the inside of the front row because the man with the choice, Denny Hamlin, has chosen the outside, and we're back to green flag racing. And Hamlin gets a great start.
We're about to see how 2 tires versus no tires versus 4 tires, how it does, because Allgaier, fast race car all day long and puts no tires on. Ooh, that's a nervy move not to put anything on.
50 laps to go here at the Samstown 300. And you can see Carl Edwards has fallen back. Kevin Harvick, there you can see he is right in front of him. Go on board. There's Kyle Busch going on the high side.
Yeah, this is a critical pass for Kevin Harvick. Now, if he can get clear of this 99, he's got 2 of his biggest competitors right there in that 18 car and the 60 car that he can get in front of. And he's got a fast car. He can probably keep him behind him, and he can probably pass these other cars. He's been faster than them all day.
So far, Allgaier hanging on. Trevor Bayne up into 3rd. We got a lot of young talent up front. Here comes Kevin Harvick, the wily old veteran trying to teach these young kids a lesson.
And boy, he just wants to break loose and get that room. And the 99 of Bain's got him pinched down. Here comes Kyle Busch.
He's looking at the outside. They're 3 wide.
Man, Trevor's getting an education right here. Welcome to the big time, Trevor. Woo. 3 wide, and they're still going after it. Trevor's not lifting. The kid will not give up.
They're still 3 wide, getting down to turn 3.
Carl's got a front row seat for all this. Now he's going to go 3 wide.
Whoa,
Harvick.
A little loose.
He hangs on. Look at Vickers twitching back there.
Now Harvick, the big loser in that little skirmish.
Ooh-wee. Look at the 22 of Keselowski. He gets a little tight with Vickers as they go side by side.
So Kevin Harvick probably telling Trevor Bayne, hey, give me a little respect, man. But Bayne's like, hey, I'm having a great race. And Harvick's going, you're slowing me up. I got 4 tires. I got a fast car. Can't get it done yet. Gonna take another attempt at Bayne on the bottom now, guys.
I don't think Bayne's worried about that. He wants to win. He wants to get up there. He's doing a great job at it. And there's another battle that we've got going now. Paul Menard and Greg Biffle. That is for 10th on the racetrack right now. And it looks like Menard's going to take control of the spot. And creeping back into the top 10, the 66 of Stephen Wallace. He's right behind them.
Now you can see how critical that pass was for Harvick. You know, if he could have cleared that 99 car, he would have been in front of Edwards and Kyle Busch. And the way it worked out, he wound up behind them. So didn't work out as good as he wanted it to.
All right, that's Colin Brown right there in the white 16. He is 9th. Then Menard, Biffle, Stephen Wallace, and Jason Leffler. That's all 4 position on the racetrack. We mentioned earlier that, yeah, we got sparks coming out of the bottom of the 16. It looked like they're bottoming out as they go over the tunnel. Denny Hamlin right now a 3/10 of a second lead over Justin Allgaier. And Allgaier, remember, he's got those older tires tires, but he's hanging on with Kyle Busch in third.
It just goes to show you how good a tire Goodyear really brought here. It's a real hard tire, but it's still keeping grip. And I really wanted to watch Allgaier and see how you do in those tires, and it's working for him right now. I didn't think it would work. I thought he'd fall back big time, but he's hanging in there right now.
Well, remember, Denny Hamlin finished 21st in this race last year because he ended up crashing late in it. We had a lot of incidents like that. Let's get the update on the car in second place from Justin Allgaier. Dave Burns.
As you talk about him hanging in there, his crew chief, Chad Walter, tried to pump him up as best he could, knowing that he was at a little bit of a disadvantage, but reminding him that technically he's in a good position aero-wise. These cars like to be out front or nearly out front, and that clean air, he told his driver, is going to be good for you. Dr. Punch?
And in front of him, Denny Hamlin have been fighting a very tight race car most of the day, particularly tight under throttle. Whatever they did, 4 tires, air pressure, track bar, nothing would help the car. And then on that last stop, rookie crew chief Kevin Kidd made the call. Let's go with 2 right side tires only. Left sides aren't wearing. Goodyear's got a great tire. 2 right sides and fuel. And obviously the car much better right now for Denny Hamlin, but also under attack from the kid Allgaier.
And Doc, that's a great point, because remember earlier in the day, everybody was worried about left side tire wear, and obviously the rubber that's now into the track, and what you talked about at the beginning of the race, the rain wasn't that heavy to wash it all off, and now we're not seeing that wear.
Yeah, the Cup car's got quite a few laps in practice this morning, put some rubber down. The rain really didn't wash it all off, and now we've got all these laps as the race wears on. That tire wear will go down. You won't have near as much that left side tire wear at the end of the race that we saw early. And I like what I see Justin Allgaier now. He's looking out that front windshield. He had Kyle Busch right on his back bumper a few laps ago. What did he do? He started searching around on the racetrack looking for a better place to run, and he's made a little bit of time now and actually pulled away from Kyle Busch.
Battle for 10th. Stephen Wallace trying to run this streak to 5 straight races into the top 10. Ooh, he got a little twitchy. Here comes Greg Biffle trying to take advantage of it. Paul Menard's already gotten around. Here comes Biffle, and the 38 of Leffler wants a piece of it as well.
Boy, Stephen had a big run in turn 3 and 4 there and got a little loose in the bottom of that track, and that's what you got to watch for.
On board with Kevin Harvick as he is closing in on Carl Edwards. That is for 4th. Kyle Busch right in front of there. The 3 cars are. And in front of them by about a half a second is Justin Allgaier. There gives you an idea of the top 5 as they come across the stripe with now 39 laps to go.
Andy, I like what you said about Allgaier. He's searching all over the racetrack, and Denny's on the bottom of the racetrack. He knows he's got to get his car up top in that clean air to get the downforce. If he's got that, he's got the momentum also.
Well, Justin Allgaier, remember, his career best is 4th. And right now running in 2nd. Here comes Steven trying to get back into that top 10 again as he is caught back up to Paul Menard.
And that right there is such a touchy spot.
Yeah, you need to be careful. We saw Brian Scott now lose his car underneath Paul Menard earlier. So you got to be real careful in this position not to get your car too loose.
Side by side through the corner. Leffler trying to get back into that battle as well.
You see Steven wiggle a little bit right there.
Now don't rough him up.
He needs to use your head right here now.
Getting mad, you know, so he's got to watch
He's getting frustrated, but he needs to use his head right here.
Here comes Leffler. And Biffle's just sort of sitting back watching all this saying, I'm going to let you guys sort this out for a second. Whoa. A little side rub between the two. A little bit further back, John West Townley, as he is running in 14th position. There you can see in the 21. This would be his best run of the season in this new setup that they have in the 21 car with Richard Childress Racing.
It's been a tough day to be a crew chief. They had 54 laps to go after they made that last stop now, and they can make it. Most cars should be able to make it to the end, but with this new rule of having up to 3 green-white checker finishes, it could run some of these cars out of fuel.
Well, you saw Biffle on the high side get around Leffler, but now Leffler looked like he was going to try and make a run back. Here comes Harvick on the 60 of Carl Edwards. That is for 4th. So Harvick.
Whoa, now.
That makes you lose too.
Yeah, Carl gives him a little break right there.
These guys are 1.7 seconds behind the race leader.
I'll tell you who's not 1.7 seconds back. It's Justin Allgaier. He is really working that 20 car now. He's been inching up on his rear bumper.
Oh, and when the caution flag has just come
Got
out.
a car in the wall, turn 4.
Turn number 4, we've got one vehicle up into the wall, pulling down onto pit road, and it is the one
James
of
Busher.
James Busher.
And James Busher.
You got brakes, James? Come to the first opening. Just come to the first opening. Pull it in. Pull it back here. Come on. Keep digging. Guys, come on back here. Come back here with the jacks and tires and everything. First opening, take a left, James, and drive it to us.
And Marty, I just watched him hit the wall on exiting turn 4 about 5 laps ago. That could have done some damage right there.
Yeah, he could have caused some damage to the sidewall, and that tire gave out. See, it's happening right here. He's already in the wall.
He was running 15th at the time of the crash, and he had 2 excellent runs earlier this year at Daytona and at California, but this one not going to end up the way he wanted. Our 7th caution here. He was 8th at Daytona, 13th back at California. Or check it, it's our 7th caution for 32 laps so far. The most we've ever had was 13 cautions, the fewest 3.
Justin Allgaier didn't want to see this caution. He was running. He was actually starting to run down Denny Hamlin.
My question is, with the tire limitations that everybody has, does anybody have any left?
It doesn't matter. I wouldn't come down pit road if I had a stack of them right now.
And what about you, driver? I know you always like tires, but what would you do?
Yeah, I've always liked tires, but these tires are holding up so good. And you see Allgaier's car hasn't slowed up. Guys, my mind has changed about 4 times during this race about what I would do with tires. These doggone Goodyear tires are so good today. It's amazing how good they are today.
See, Biffle does come down pit road.
Yep.
This is not a bad move for him because he was not going the right direction.
Well, Biffle was 12th at the time, so he comes in. So does Brendan Gaughan. He peeled off. Joe Nemechek. And it looks like they're going to take all 4. And this is not the fastest of pit stops that we've seen this crew turn out today.
Well, they're not really racing anybody. That's why, you get in a situation like this, you want to make some adjustments. You've only got 3 cars on pit road.
They went the wrong way, so then they're going to go back the other direction. 43 will get the lucky dog. That will be Scott Lagasse. And he gets back out onto the track. Well, as we've got a moment, I know many of you heard the news earlier this week about Jake Elder. He won 2 championships with David Pearson, nearly 50 wins, one of the legendary characters of the early NASCAR days. Tomorrow is Mario Andretti's 70th birthday. It was Jake Elder that gave him that win back in 1967 at the Daytona 500. Jake, we'll miss you.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Las Vegas. Make sure you go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. 31 laps to go. Get ready for a restart that could be very, very interesting with Kyle Busch in the outside lane behind Denny Hamlin. Let's talk to a couple crew chiefs before the restart. Doc?
Well, Kevin Kidd made the call for Denny Hamlin to finally put your car out front. Nice call for 2 tires on the right side.
Yeah, it's playing out in our advantage. Track position's everything at this place. Any place is fast. We'll take the track position anytime we can, and the way the tire is, it just seemed to be the right move. We'll see what happens. There's still a lot of race left. Can't count your chickens before the hatch, and as we learned last week. So long race still to go. Hopefully we can hang in there and get a win.
All right, Dave.
And Chad Walter has chickens too. Can Justin hold the inside line on the restart?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, Dave. Verizon Dodge has been awfully strong. We got a little bit out of sequence and took a chance on tires. He's in good company up there. I mean, those are the pros, and these are the guys this guy needs to race to win the race. And I think we can do it. I think this place owes us one, and I feel really good with our chances here today.
All right, stand by, Alan. It's going to be good.
Who gets through first from that second row? Kyle Busch with that inside lane or Kevin Harvick with the outside?
Boy, I'd hate to be either Justin Allgaier or Denny Hamlin with those 2 guys staring down my breathing down my neck. I think Harvick's going to be really strong. He's got himself back into position after some bad pit stops. Let's see what happens.
And that outside lane's been the launching ramp for a lot of these guys all race long.
Fast way around. So let's see if he can launch that thing.
30 laps to go. Let's see how it plays out.
Justin Allgaier spun the tires on that restart, cost him.
And Kevin Harvick. Oh, no, we got spin. The 16. Oh, Colin Brown into the wall hard. Our 8th caution of the day, and I don't know if he got help.
66, get me or what?
He was 10th
For sure,
on
big
the
time.
restart. Tony Raines also looks like he may have some damage in this. Colin looks like he's able to get it at least fired to get back. Here we go. Whoops. Yeah, it looks like Stephen may have gotten into him a little.
They definitely got a nudge from Stephen.
Let's go on board.
Inside Paul Menard, we know that's the place that
38 tight to you. It's your door. Easy, easy. Go, go, go.
you're loose there anyway. Can't hardly stand any contact right there in that situation. And it's amazing it didn't take out more cars. See, Tony Raines does get spun around.
And he gets a little damage on that right side. What this means with Colin now crashing out, all 5 of our rookies have crashed in this race today. Not the kind of statistic we enjoy passing on, but Colin is okay as he climbs out of the car. 61 of Josh Wise will get the lucky dog, and that'll give us 20 cars on the lead lap.
Both those guys were having a good run, Kyle and Steven. Steven just got a little too aggressive right there.
All right, well, let's reset this for you because Denny Hamlin still is your race leader. Kevin Harvick, though, is now in 2nd place. And let's check in with Vince Welch.
Well, it's been a great day for Kevin Harvick and this 33 team on the track. You've led the most laps today, had some struggles in the pits, but how about what Kevin has left? Is it enough? And where is he best on this track to make the move?
I think so. I think we're the fastest car out there, and luckily we don't have to come down pit road again because obviously that's where we lost all our time today. But as far as get on the racetrack, I feel like we're the best car, and I don't know, we'll see how it plays out. You know, if we get ahead of that 20, I think we can check out.
Yeah, this team has been really good in 1 and 2 all day long today. Look for the move there. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch sitting 4th right now. Jason, Kyle's complaining that his car is just so tight and gets tight so fast. How much will that affect his ability to get to the front this time?
Well, it's been tough. It seemed like when we were out front, we were fine. You know, we didn't want many adjustments, but once we got in dirty air there, we haven't been able to get the handle back on it. So the guys have been working hard on pit road. We made a lot of adjustments on that last one. Right now, it's not what we need, but if he can ever get that nose in clean air, I think we can do something with him.
All right, definitely struggling with a tight car, not wanting to turn through the center, guys.
And while you finished up, Jamie, we can tell you Jason Leffler did come in for a pit stop. He's on the lead lap. Like we said, we will have a total of 19 cars, it looks like, on the lead lap after we get back to green flag racing. And we mentioned at the beginning of this race how Joe Gibbs Racing has never won here at Las Vegas in the Nationwide Series. Well, they got a good shot at it. Denny Hamlin is 1st. Kyle Busch is running 4th.
Yeah, this is a break, too. You know, Kyle Busch gets to start on that outside lane, and it seems like that's been the advantage. You know, poor Justin Allgaier, he spun his tires just a little bit, lost that 2nd spot, and he still has to start on the inside.
And he will have Carl Edwards lining up right behind him. In fact, let's just reset it for you. It'll be Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick on the front row. Kyle Busch, Justin Allgaier in row 2, Trevor Bayne, and Carl Edwards in row number 3. And our pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, and Brian Vickers, 7th and 8th.
Kevin's going to have to get the restart of his life right here in the bottom lane, because we've seen all day long where the top side of the racetrack is better. But Kevin's got 4 tires in that car compared to Denny Hamlin's 2, and that might be the great equalizer right there that can save Kevin starting on the bottom of the bottom lane. He just needs to come through the gearbox like he's never done all day long and get a little nose on him, I'd say, getting into turn 1. Probably at least a half a car getting into 1 to get that stuck in the bottom and clear him off of turn 2.
Well, we can tell you that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has gotten back out onto the track. He is 46 laps down. Brian Keselowski is 67 laps back out on the racetrack.
Looks like they've called off the restart. They did still trying to get the cars off the wreck car off the racetrack.
So we'll go one more time around the 1.5 miles here. And don't forget, we're going to have a couple of weeks off on the Nationwide Series. Give us a chance to sort of sit back, catch our breath, analyze what's happened over the first 3 events. And next time we'll see you in the Nationwide Series, we'll be at Bristol. And ooh, baby, will the fireworks be flying there.
They've narrowed the track up at Bristol. Off of turn 4, much softer barrier, in 3 feet. Off of turn 4, in off of turn 2. I was there Tuesday, Andy, checking it out. It's going to be
change things a little bit.
Oh, man, it's going to get tight over there. Bristol's going to be a whale of a race.
5 different winners won on the 7 short track races last season, led by Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski. They each had 2. And we'll find out what happens in a couple of weeks at Bristol. Let's get updates from pit road. Jamie?
Talking to Jerry Baxter right now. Trevor Bayne, your driver, I'll tell you, he hasn't been lifting with all these veteran drivers around him. What do you think, sitting 6th right now as we go green?
We took 2 tires on that last stop, to get track position. We did 4 the one before, and just seemed like we couldn't pass anybody. So he's definitely taking a lesson right now. He's up there with the dogs, so ain't no better way to learn driving that old Aaron's Dream Machine than this.
Well, he's learning, and he's all about trying to get the respect of his veteran drivers, guys.
All right, thank you, Jamie. As you go on board with Trevor Bayne, we mentioned the fact he is in 6th. While we've got a moment, let's give a little shout out to Mike Wallace. He fought his way back. He is in 12th position right now and making his 350th Nationwide Series start. There he is in the 01. So congratulations to Mike on 350 and counting.
They got Carrot Top on the box down there. You think he's made a difference? Must have.
Well, I saw him in pre-race down there talking to some of the drivers. So if he does well, maybe Carrot Top will be a permanent fixture in the 01 camp. All right, pace car is off as we get ready with 25 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing. I'll tell you what, folks, I didn't think we would get this entire race in. It is very cold, but the fans that have stayed are going to see a shootout. Here we go. Harvick. Oh, and he's getting a push from the 12.
He's got that half car link you were talking about, Rusty. Can you get him clear?
Now let's see if those 4 tires will do anything. Not off of turn 2.
Oh, man, that's so tight as they slide up towards the wall. Down the backstretch, and look.
Man, look at Harvick drive this thing in the corner, though.
The top 6 are just snug tight. Now they finally sort of sifted out, coming to the stripe, and it looks like Kevin Harvick is going to take the lead. So despite 2 disastrous pit stops, he finds himself back in a winning position. Allgaier goes high. That's going to open the door for some other cars to slide underneath. Maybe even the 99 of Trevor Bayne. There goes Carl Edwards side by side with him. That's the view from Bayne's car.
Boy, for about the first 5 laps, these tires really stick, and these drivers got to get it out of it right then.
Did you hear that right there? You just barely hear him crack the throttle through that corner.
Wide open on the throttle.
Allgaier in the 12, Bayne in the 99, and right behind him is Carl Edwards. That is for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack, and they're going side by side again. And here comes Brad Keselowski trying to work his way back into the mix as he's got Brian Vickers in the 32.
Guys, I don't know about you, but this Nationwide Tour is just amazing how tight these guys have been running these last 3 races. Incredible races out of these guys. They're driving great.
Vickers
aggressive.
Side by side with the young Trevor Bayne. At 19 years of age, he would like to pick up his first Nationwide Series win. Got a great run going right now, and it looks like he may be able to hold off Vickers.
Keselowski's got that run on the top side of the track. That's our pole sitter right there. Fell back a little bit, but he's coming back now.
Bayne pulls away. Here comes Keselowski on the high side as well, around the 32. A little bit further back, the 66 of Stephen Wallace, running in 9th.
Kevin Harvick up front, 29.83 last lap.
You're not missing anything there. He has pulled out an 0.8 of a second lead. We're showing you the best racing action on the track. There's the margin. You go.
Oh! Kyle Busch gets in the wall.
Kyle brushes the wall. Now the question is, did it do any serious damage?
Well, he probably didn't help it any. Already struggling with the tight race car. Now, all that's going to do is make it tighter.
This time by.
All done. Got an fence off of 2. Going backwards. We're done.
You just heard Kyle. We're done. Got in the fence. And again, his luck at this track doesn't seem to be 7 come 11, but rather snake eyes. Carl Edwards going around. And remember, Carl is the points leader right now coming into this race, and he will maintain that points lead provided he stays where he's at or improves. And Kyle going the wrong direction. So it's now Harvick, Hamlin, Edwards, your top three. Back to the battle for 6. Keselowski, Trevor Bayne. And Keselowski goes down onto the apron. Benny gets Bayne to sort of slide up, give him some extra room, and now he's going to clear him.
Well, how many times have we seen this out of Brad Keselowski? At the end of the race, he just is so strong. He finishes strong.
It's go time, and he is going. And look at Kyle Busch sliding backwards.
Keselowski's an aggressive driver. We all know that. I mean, this is the time you need to show the aggression, but not on his teammate.
No.
Yeah, that's his teammate, Justin
nice.
Allgaier, right in front of him there. That is for 4th position on the racetrack. Next time by, 17 laps to go. And Harvick, last lap, now being told his fastest of the day, so he has got the hammer down.
Marty, I just started to say, these guys started during the day. Now it's night. The lights are on. I just walked outside. Everybody said it is really brutal cold outside now. Spotters are all complaining, but you know what? That's good for speed. It makes these old cars run fast.
Well, you can see who is the fastest as they come across the stripe, and it is Kevin Harvick, 178.5. And his lead is now 1.8 seconds over Denny Hamlin. Carl Edwards 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, and Brad Keselowski 5th, and they're duking it out for that 4th position. And Keselowski's got the opening and now takes the spot. Now remember, Allgaier's got the older tires.
And it's showing just a little bit right now. Boy, it looks like that 18 car Kyle Busch is really wounded. He's fallen back to the pack big time. Lost that right front fender there, Andy.
He hit that wall pretty hard. I mean, he did a lot of damage.
Let's get an update, Jamie.
Well, guys, before we heard that radio on Kyle Busch, he came on the radio and told his guys he thought he had some damage to his nose. He wasn't sure if he actually got into the back of somebody, and then right away his car just wouldn't turn. He got in the fence, and he said, guys, this is just another Vegas typical race for me.
And he is going backwards right now. Mike Wallace has got around him. Wallace into the top 10. Look out as Brendan Gaughan and Greg Biffle sort of nudge each other a little bit. We can tell you Harvick has now clinched the most laps led, so he'll pick up the bonus points there. He's led 67 and counting. We've had 10 different leaders in this race, and here goes Vickers underneath Trevor Bayne. That is for 6th on the racetrack. On the right side, a little further back, you can see Kyle continues to fall back, and here comes Biffle and Brendan Gaughan underneath him. That is for 11th.
Well, you can see Trevor Bayne hanging tough on the outside now, and he's not giving Vickers much room.
32 car Brian Vickers gets real loose on the bottom of the racetrack under Trevor Bayne there. We talked earlier in the broadcast, that is a tough spot to be in. Makes the cars big time loose. Let's watch it again here.
Well, he's got him cleared this time. So Vickers takes over that 6th spot. There is Justin Allgaier. He is 5th. That would be his next target if he can close in on him. And Brad Keselowski has opened up about a 2nd lead over his teammate. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick is checking out, fellas. 2 seconds, and the last thing he wants to see is a caution flag coming out right now.
That's right, Marty, because he's got a 2-second lead right now, but now Denny Hamlin just run a little bit faster the lap before. Now he's equaled Kevin Harvick's time this last time by. And he might be catching Harvick just a little bit. Harvick's getting hung in traffic.
Yeah, he's got 2 cars he's got to get around. That is the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse, the 34 Tony Raines, and he cuts through both of them very cleanly. For Harvick, he has picked up where his crew let him down on 2 stops, and there you can see them on the wall watching what's going on.
Yeah, they're kind of relieved. They don't have to make another stop now, and they're back out front. So, you know, nothing will heal all this up better than winning the race.
The big question mark will be, will he make more changes to this team? He already made a bundle before the season started.
Well, Marty's got to make a change. There's no doubt about that. He's got a fast car every week, and he can't put up with this. But one thing, if he does get this win, Brian Vickers under Allgaier right now.
And that is for 5th, so if Vickers can clear, he'll take over the position on board with Justin.
Started to say, if Kevin wins this race, at least he won't probably go beat his pit crew up right now. Have a sense of a accomplishment.
That is lap traffic of the 05 of Willie Allen. They both clear him. More lap traffic coming up. Sparks flying. That is from the 6 car of Ricky Stenhouse. And here goes Vickers taking 5th. And it was Tony Raines. And Allgaier had no choice. He had to check up that time.
That was a smart move right there. This guy's had a great race. You don't need to wreck that car right now.
Well, Raines was unable to get low. And you can see the difference. He breathed the throttle just a little bit. Now he's going to have to try and reel him back in. So, and this is really the first time the entire day where literally everybody in the top 10, you got to go all the way back to 8th to have anybody within bumper shot of each other. And there you give you an idea that how it has spread out for race leader Kevin Harvick.
Boy, if Kevin Harvick wins this race, no doubt about one thing, he earned it.
8 laps remaining here at the 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway. His lead is 2 seconds over Denny Hamlin. It has stabilized. They're both running laps at 30.7. There is Hamlin in second. Again, remember, Joe Gibbs Racing has never won here in the Nationwide Series. While we let the cars come on through, what we're going to show you is Kyle Busch, one misstep where he brushed the wall. He is now all the way back in 16th position, a full 15 seconds behind the race leader, just trying to limp the 18 home.
And you know what? He can't be mad at anybody because he was driving hard, but he did it himself. He had a good car all day long. And that happens.
He did it to himself last year here. Remember when he crashed early? He got out and he said, this woman's on me.
Sometimes you just want it too much. I mean, he really wants to win here, and he was in a spot, if he could have just got his teammate clear, Denny Hamlin, which Denny's still running second, he might have had a shot at Kevin Harvick. Just trying too hard.
Speaking of Harvick, he is now still 2 seconds ahead of Denny Hamlin. They are matching lap for lap in the time department. Edwards third, Brad Keselowski fourth, Brian Vickers fifth, and now Allgaier and Trevor Bayne are sort of closing in on each other. And here's that battle we talked about for 8th position as Paul Menard gets underneath Stephen Wallace. And here comes Stephen right back on the high side. Remember, Stephen going for his 5th straight top 10 finish dating back to last year.
Yeah, Paul Menard's done a great job this year. Had to buy his way basically into the first race of the year when they didn't get to qualify at Daytona. But he's made the most of it. He's been one of the top cars.
Well, and remember, he was a full lap down earlier in this race. But we've seen that before here at Las Vegas. Trevor Bayne and the 12 of Justin Allgaier. That is for 6th. Bayne's got it. Allgaier would like to get it back. Allgaier's tires are finally starting to show their age.
Yeah, he got a bad break when that caution came out when he was running down Denny Hamlin, the leader at the time. Looked like he might have a shot at the win if it went green, but it hardly ever goes green those last 40 laps.
Well, one thing Allgaier needs to remember, I mean, he needs to remember this setup. This was a great setup he's had here at this Las Vegas racetrack. He's been up front all day long, which is 4 laps to go right now. He's still up there in 7th position and looking good. I know he wants to win it, but this is a great performance out of this guy today.
Looks like that battle has simmered down a little bit. Let's go back to our race leader. That is Denny Hamlin in 2nd place. There is Kevin Harvick, now 1.7 seconds, and next time by it'll be 2 laps. This will be, for Chevrolet, their 350th Nationwide Series win if Harvick can hold on.
And Harvick's saying right now, don't anybody screw up. I don't need a caution flag. Everybody drives smart. And this pit crew's thinking, please win this thing so you can bail us out.
Here's the other thing. Remember, he said, if I'm having fun, I may go for the championship. What do you think? Is he having fun?
If he wins this race, he's going to be having a lot of fun. And if he wins a lot of races, I think he'll make that decision to run for the championship.
Going around some lap traffic there. And now, next time by, it'll be the white flag lap. His last win in the Nationwide Series was Atlanta last September.
White flag, one more time.
1.5 miles to go for Kevin Harvick. 2 horrendous pit stops, and he has fought his way back and still leads by 1.4 seconds over Denny Hamlin.
Amazing job Kevin Harvick's done with his Nationwide team, his truck team. It's just incredible machines he's building. Great talent.
as he gets through turns 3 and 4. It'll be his second win here in Las Vegas and the 35th of his career as he comes across the stripe. Kevin Harvick comes back from near disaster on pit road and takes the win over Denny Hamlin by 1.3 seconds. Carl Edwards third, Brad Keselowski fourth.
Gotta work on pit road, but this thing's a bullet.
And Brian Vickers fifth. And first thing out of his mouth, let's work on pit road.
Yeah, we got to work on it, but I'll tell you, if he hadn't crossed that line first, it'd have been a different conversation.
And that was a lot better attitude out of Harvick that time.
That's
Good
great.
run for him, boy. Great fast car today.
Bailed his pit crew out.
A total of 18 cars finish on the lead lap with Joe Nemechek rounding out that 18th car. And the congratulations going on in the pit crew as I didn't think we'd get this one in. And let's check in with Dave Burns.
With Ernie Cope, and when we talked yesterday, you didn't want to give the crew too much credit for a good week last week, and boy, they struggled today. How do you resolve having the W over all that?
Well, I mean, he passed more cars than anybody today. We had our worst day, I think, ever on pit road. He kept us cool pretty good for what we had going. The best that could be expected. I mean, the car was good, and he drove his butt off, and he just picked them off one at a time, and we got a clear air, and we're gone.
You told me last year, after the disappointment of crashing and leading so much, you were just going to pick up where you left off. Kind of did that, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Last year, to the point where we crashed, we led the most laps, and we just come back with the same setup, brand new race car, and I think we got a pretty good Vegas setup.
And a whole lot more smiles this year, Marty.
Absolutely. As you see the victory celebration beginning, the checkered flag being dropped down to Kevin. While we pointed out the top 5, how about 6th place? Trevor Bayne came back last week after the crash at Daytona to finish 11th. Now he has a career best 6th at age 19.
That's some good medicine for him.
Yeah, and again, Stephen Wallace, he rounds out the top 10, so the streak stays alive. 5 races in a row in the top 10. And Paul Menard finishing in 8th. Another great run there. Remember, they were a lap down at one point after a penalty on pit road.
Andy, what about this track? It just keeps getting better and better with age.
This track, since they've redone it, has been just phenomenal. The amount of grip and the amount of racing we've seen today is it's pretty neat.
While we've got a moment, let's talk about your ticket to the race, because we have had 3 great runs so far, and here's where we're heading to next. Bristol Motor Speedway March 20th, then on to Nashville April 3rd, then Phoenix, Texas, Talladega April 24th, Richmond, Darlington, Dover, Charlotte, and back to Nashville. And that gets you all the way through June. All you got to do is NASCAR.com/tickets, and we'll see you at the track.
What about that Bristol, though, man? New racetrack. It's going to be wild over there.
And an unhappy Kyle Busch as he comes across the line in 16th position. And again, he's just going to look back at this one and say,
well, some days are better than others. He had a great run last week, got a good break, got a win.
Carl Edwards came across the line in 3rd. Let's talk to him. He's with Jamie Little.
Well, there was a lot going on today. First of all, his first race here as a dad. He had his old crew chief back.
Yeah.
You guys got out of pit sequence early, yet you still finished third. Describe your race, Carl.
Well, the race changed a lot. At one point we were leading the thing, and I was just cruising around, and I thought, man, this is it. We've got it. And it was just a lot going on in that race, and Drew did a great job. Mike Kelly did a great job getting us here. It was a good points day, but we really wanted to get a win for Copart. If anybody out there is looking for a deal on a car, Copart.com. They're a great company. I've used them and just want to get them to victory lane. So, a good run for Ford as well. But we're working on it. Drew said we were 1/10 off, and we'll work on getting 3, and then we'll be great.
Well, that's 3 consecutive top 5 finishes for Carl Edwards. Marty?
All right, thanks a lot, Jamie, as we get ready now to head down to the Hellman's Victory Circle as Kevin Harvick has made it to victory lane.
Twice before, Kevin Harvick has led the most laps here at Vegas and not won, but today leads the most laps and does win. How good was this race car to be able to make up for the spots that you lost in pit lane today?
Yeah, just the car was really fast. We definitely got some work to do on pit road. Luckily, the car was fast enough today, but I got to thank Ream. They've been with us for a long time, and they're the only sponsor that we hadn't taken to victory lane in everything that we've done. So, Ream, Chevrolet, Jimmy John's, all the fans for sticking with with us in everything that we do. Armor, who am I missing? Longhorn, Charter, everybody that helps us out on this car.
Now, we heard on the radio there was sometimes it was a little difficult to keep your composure after those miscues on pit road. But how did you regroup and get this thing to the front again and again and win this race?
Well, I get mad, and they know how I am, and they know what I expect of them, and that's not what we expect on pit road. We expect our pit road performances, for all the effort that we put into it, to be like what we are on the racetrack. But I learned a long time ago that you can only gripe about it for so long, and then you got to go back to driving the car. So Ernie and these guys have done a great job. They work really hard week in and week out to give me cars like this, and we'll fix that pit road deal and get it so that we can show up like that every week.
Man, he drove the wheels off of it today. Kevin Harvick wins in Las Vegas for the second time in his career. Marty? Dave?
And Vince Denny Hamlin, a strong second place today, but a leader on the last restart. What happened?
Yeah, we just those tires got us. But I tried to drive in as hard as I could, but wasn't risking tearing this Interstate Batteries car up. Got to say hi to Norm. He's back at home watching, but we just didn't. We never got on the same cycle as those guys, and those new tires. Kevin had a good car for most of the day. We fought track position. As soon as we would get to somebody, we'd just get aero tight. So overall, it was a good day. We started running back to him there at the end, so we got something to at least build on.
Second place for Hamlin. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski brings it home fourth. What happened there early?
We just, trying to be smart, and had some kind of, engine issue. I'm not sure what, but it would come and go, and by the end it was really strong. We had a great discount tire Dodge. Felt like we're as good as anyone else, just fought some track position, but, the biggest thing from this weekend is we qualified well. It's the first time I've ever qualified well on a track like this, and we showed speed all week long. So we'll just keep working out the little bugs, and we'll find ourselves in victory lane.
And you jumped up to second in the points. Alan?
Okay, Jamie, thanks. And so we wrap it up here in Las Vegas momentarily with college basketball coming up next. It is Judgment Week presented by Miller Lite. Illinois State and Northern Iowa in progress. Hour and a half delayed by rain. Still had a good race.
Oh, it was a super race. Kevin Harvick was just absolutely dominant. What a great race for him today. Justin Allgaier, good finish, as well as Bain.
A couple of weeks off the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Saturday, March 20th. It's Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee. That is coming up on ABC. That race, make note of that. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. On to hoops.